Hey folks, Mike Johnson here. If it's got wheels and an engine, you're in the right place. On this channel, we dive into car repairs, maintenance tips, and everything you need to keep your ride running smooth. If you're into cars and want to keep learning, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. All right, enough talking. Let's get into it.
Catalytic converters fail over time due to degradation of the internal catalytic substance by regular cyclic use, or damage caused by poor engine performance, such as prolonged driving with excessively lean or rich mixture. As catalytic converters are generally sealed metal units, once they have failed, they need to be replaced. Catalytic converters are typically fitted in one of two ways, either bolted onto the flanges, or welded directly into the exhaust pipes. The exact procedures for replacing catalytic converters vary from vehicle to vehicle. However, the more common bolt-on type design is a job that can usually be done with the right set of hand tools and knowledge. In this article, we'll look at how to replace the most common bolt-on designs of catalytic converters. Method 1 of 2, installing a bolt-on catalytic converter located in the exhaust system. There are several ways to bolt on a catalytic converter, the specifics of which vary from vehicle to vehicle. In this particular case, we'll cover the more common bolt-on design in which the catalytic converter is located on the underside of the vehicle. Materials required: set of wrenches, jack stands, penetrating oil ratchet and socket assortment, ratchet extensions and joint safety. Goggles. Step 1, raise the vehicle and secure it to the stanchions. Be sure to lift the vehicle enough to leave room for maneuvering under the vehicle. Set the parking brake and use plugs or wooden blocks under the tires to prevent the vehicle from rolling away. Step 2, find the catalytic converter. Identify the catalytic converter on the underside of the vehicle. It's usually located towards the front half of the vehicle, usually behind the exhaust manifold. Some vehicles will even have several catalytic converters, in which case it's important to note which bank's catalytic converter needs replacing. Step 3, remove the oxygen sensors. If necessary, remove any oxygen sensors that may be mounted directly in or near the catalytic converter. If no oxygen sensors are mounted in the catalytic converter, or need to be removed, proceed to Step 4. Step 4, spray penetrating oil. Spray penetrating oil on the exhaust flange hardware and flanges, and leave them to soak for a few minutes. Because of their location under the vehicle and exposure to the elements, exhaust nuts and bolts are particularly susceptible to rust and galling, making it easier to spray them and avoid problems with the nuts or bolts. Step 5, prepare your tools. Identify the sizes of wrench required to remove the nuts or bolts from the catalytic converter flange. Sometimes, flexible extensions or joints, or a ratchet wrench and socket on one side, and a wrench on the other, are required for removal. Take care to ensure that tools are correctly positioned before attempting to tighten hardware. As previously mentioned, exhaust hardware is particularly prone to rust, so great care must be taken not to round or strip the hardware. Remove the hardware and the catalytic converter should be free. Step 6, replace the catalytic converter. Replace the catalytic converter with a new one and replace all exhaust flange gaskets to prevent exhaust leaks. Also make sure that the replacement catalytic converter meets the correct specifications for the vehicle's emissions standards. Emissions regulations vary from state to state, and a vehicle may fail if the incorrect catalytic converter is installed. Step 7, install the catalytic converter. Install the catalytic converter by following the reverse removal procedure, steps 1 to 5. Method 2 of 2, the installation of an integrated catalytic converter in the exhaust manifold. Some vehicles use an exhaust manifold integrated catalytic converter design, which bolts directly onto the headers and runs down into the exhaust system. These types of catalytic converters are also very common and, in many cases, can also be replaced by a basic set of hand tools. Step 1, locate the catalytic converter. For vehicles using catalytic converters integrated into the exhaust manifolds, they are located under the hood, bolted directly to the engine cylinder head, or to the heads, if it's a V6 or V8 engine. Step 2, remove obstructions. Remove any covers, cables, wiring or intake pipes that may obstruct access to the exhaust manifold. Also remove any oxygen sensors that may be mounted in the manifold. Step 3, spray penetrating oil. Spray nuts or bolts on the exhaust manifold with penetrating oil and leave them to soak for a few minutes. Don't forget to spray not only the hardware on the header, but also the hardware at the bottom sole that runs down to the rest of the exhaust. Step 4. Lift the vehicle. Depending on the design of the vehicle, the lower bolts can sometimes only be reached underneath the vehicle. In such cases, it may be necessary to lift the vehicle and secure it on stanchions to gain access to these nuts or bolts. Step 5. Identify the tools required. Once the vehicle is lifted and secured, identify the required size tools and loosen the exhaust manifold hardware on both the head and the flange. Again, ensure that tools are correctly positioned before attempting to loosen any nuts or bolts, to avoid stripping or rounding the hardware. Once all the hardware has been removed, the commutator should come off. Step 6. Replace the catalytic converter. Replace the catalytic converter with a new one. Replace all manifolds and exhaust gaskets to avoid exhaust leaks or engine performance problems. Step 7. Install the new catalytic converter. Install the new catalytic converter using the reverse of the removal procedure. All things considered, bolt-on catalytic converters are generally a simple job to do, however, the details can vary considerably from vehicle to vehicle. In conclusion, installing a catalytic converter may seem daunting at first, but with the right tools and a step-by-step approach, it can be a manageable task. Remember to always prioritize safety by wearing protective gear and working in a well-ventilated area. By following the guidelines we've discussed, you can ensure that your vehicle runs more efficiently and meets environmental standards. Thank you for watching, and we hope this video has empowered you to take on your catalytic converter installation with confidence.